sure you're aware of the terrorist attack that happened in the church in Nice. 3 people murdered, a combination of stabbing and beheading. It's being described as an Islamist attack, and the perpetrator was a recent arrival from Tunisia. Now, very unfortunately, there are some people that I know, burying their head in the sand, making every excuse and trying to imagine that somehow this is a false flag attack because it suits Macron and how timely it is for his narrative. However, since the Charlie Hebdo massacre in 2015, 285 people in France have been killed at the hands of Islamists like this. So that's on average just about 1 a week, slightly more. So what's special about the one this week? Of course it fits the narrative, but when you have a recurring problem like this, you only have to wait a week or so and you will have something that suits your narrative. Now, Macron is a bit of a hypocrite. He's denouncing some kind of problem within the Islamic world and this fanaticism that has cost so many people their lives in France. Yet he was funding the type of fanatics that do this. And he was hoping that they would go and do it in Syria. And they did. And he was very happy about that. And very happy for the jihadists to be attacking someone else in someone else's country. But when it happens on your doorstep, Mr. Macron, you seem to have a very short memory. So please stop funding jihadists abroad. And hopefully we won't have too many jihadist attacks. In fact, 285 dead. How many is too many? One's too many, isn't it? But don't for a minute imagine that this is some kind of false flag attack. You're not doing anyone any favours if you start crying wolf and saying, oh, this couldn't possibly be Muslims. It might not be your interpretation of Islam. The 99.9% of normal practicing Muslims that don't go around murdering people, but very, very unfortunately, there is a phenomenon of Islamist, ISIS-inspired jihadists. Give me another name for it, if you can. I've had people making the excuse, oh, this was an attack on a church, and you know that in Islam it teaches you to protect and respect holy buildings. Yes, I know that. It also teaches you not to murder people. These people have a warped understanding of the religion. Of course you shouldn't desecrate people's holy buildings. Tell that one to Tayyip Erdogan. I know I keep bringing it up, and I know you don't like it, some of you. But the Hagia Sophia should never have been turned into a mosque. And an attack on a church and church employees and an old woman. I know this is against everything that it says in the Quran, but don't bury your head in the sand. If you want to distance yourself from it, don't say these are not Muslim people. This is somebody dressing up as Muslims. Acknowledge that this is a problem of a certain sect of Islam, if you want to use that terminology, and distance yourself in the sense that you are from a different sect that interprets that book and that religion in a completely different way. Because as we know, there is good and bad in every religion, and this exercise in denial, saying, no, it must be a false flag, it must be a false flag, even though 285 deaths over 5 years adds up to about 1 death a week. Are they all false flags? Are the thousands of takfiris that headed to Syria, are they all false flags? Wake up. I'm not saying that false flags don't happen. We've reeled off the long list of many of them on this channel. But you know what else also happens? ISIS-inspired terrorist attacks.